Good morning. I'll call to order this special meeting of the New Ulm Public Utilities Commission. First item on the agenda is to receive and order filed the special meeting notice, which is to consider natural gas pricing and utility billing and other business that may come before us this morning. Do we need a motion to?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll offer the motion to receive and order file the special meeting notice to consider natural gas prices and utility billing and other business that may come before the commission.
Second. Any discussion of the motion? All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Next is, motion carried. Next is to receive and order filed the public notice that this commission will be conducted via teleconference. Although all of the commissioners are present, we do have members of the public who are participating electronically, but I don't think this is technically a teleconference meeting since all the commissioners are present. So we'll move on to new business, which is a discussion of a possible plan to mitigate and recapture our high natural gas prices for February. Go ahead, Chris.
Good morning, President Heine, Commissioners. The first thing I want to make mention of, and just for some clarification, yesterday we were doing some testing of our billing software to kind of see what could potentially be done for our customers' bills, and we were on a test site, and apparently our biller had clicked the button to to disable the email notification, and for some reason that email notification did not work. And so there were some bills there were some emails that went out to some of our customers that said, you know, you have a new bill out, the amount is this. I'm not sure if it had a due date on it or something like that. So once we found out, we immediately got a list of all of the emails that had gone out. We sent out a retraction email, or just basically saying, you know, we're sorry for the inconvenience that this was not supposed to go out. So just wanted you to be aware in case you got any calls, and then also if anybody's watching, so that they know that that was sent out in error. So to disregard. I've got just a short presentation here. Maybe a little background if anybody hasn't been following this or is just new to seeing, didn't see the work session. But in February, there was a polar vortex, like everyone knows. We've all heard about the things that happened down in Texas. And there was a historic cold weather, had a series of winter storms. It severely impacted the Midwest as well as the state of Texas. This cold weather drove up the demand for natural gas. And so we had generators and natural gas heating were competing for the same supply. But unfortunately, that supply was constrained, and it was constrained due to natural gas wells and pipeline freezes, as well as wind turbine and power plant freezes. Now, those freezes happened in the southern states, and unfortunately, Minnesota and some of our states around us receive our gas from there. Minnesota doesn't have its own natural gas wells, and so we receive our supply from the southern part of the country. And so that is why Minnesota was affected by whatever was happening down in Texas and Missouri and Kansas and all of those states below us. So due to that particular thing happening, the freezes and the low supply, the price of natural gas skyrocketed, and that affected both the natural gas industry as well as the electric generation industry. And what we saw was New Ulm's price increase from $2.60 an MCF to at one point a high of $188 an MCF. So that's a huge increase. This has caused an economic disaster for utilities, any utilities that needed to pay the higher price to either supply natural gas to heat the homes or to generate electricity. And there's many municipal utilities, not only in the state of Minnesota, but across other states that have spent their entire fuel budget in just 4 days of February. So this just gives you an idea of the impact that New Ulm saw. We have not received our gas supply billing as of yet. That should be probably coming in the next couple days. But we have calculated out an estimate of where we think that is going to be. The January BP billing was $727,000. Of that, it's split between our electric power plant, which is for generation, as well as for district heating. And then the other part of that bill is the gas for our town. And you can see in February what happened. We're estimating the bill to be just over 7 million. The electric plant and the gas, you can see there the impact to them. There are some, there's been some discussion about payment options for the utility to pay these bills back. We can kind of talk about that later. That'll be one of the decision points that we'll have to make. So I'll explain that a little bit later in the presentation. This was a graph, I think, that we showed at the work session that we had last week. And I just wanted to put it up again just to show you what happened. This is a history of natural gas prices for New Ulm that's gone back to 1999. And the highest monthly gas price that we've had prior to 2021 has been approximately $11.50. Now, we've seen spot prices higher than that. We've seen spot prices at $100. But this is a pooled rate. This is a rate that takes hedges as well as spot prices together. So in February of 2021, by the time everything was over and done, the natural gas price came in at $28.50. So you can see that's, over double what we've seen in pricing before. That includes the gas that we paid spot market when it was $2.60, the gas that we received when it was $188, and it also includes the hedged gas that we have. And we kind of talked a little bit about this in the work session, but I wanted to bring this to your attention. The hedged gas that we have, that gas saved our customers over $3 million, $3.8 million, just over that 7-day spike. So a lot of people will say, why don't you hedge everything? And, we can't do that. You pay a premium for that. And so at points in the month, our hedged gas price was higher than the spot price. So you have to kind of have a balance throughout the month of some hedged, some spot. But I did want to let you know that, had we not had those hedges, we would have seen bills, almost $4 million higher. This is the purchase gas adjustment summary, and I just wanted to show this because what this shows is for the last 2 years, we have had a negative gas adjustment. And what that means is on your gas bill, you will see a credit. And what's that saying is we're actually buying gas at less than the price that's within your rate. And so you can see, even in the winter months, there's been a credit on your bill. Now, you can see in March, we have a positive. So it's going from, a negative 13 cents per CCF to $2.32. That will show up on your March bill. That's based on February consumption. So that's going to be on the consumption that customers just saw in February. So we have I think what we're here today is to kind of talk about some options that we have for our customers. Our customers have been hit through, with COVID, they've been hit with the cold weather, and the utility is aware of that and compassionate towards that as well. But there's some options that potentially we're looking at and would like to make a decision today on. The first option would be just to charge the total through. It would take the PGA of $2.31 times the CCFs of gas that they burned in February. We would collect all of our money. We would be able to pay our gas bill in the month of March for February, and, you know, we would just go on as to the next month. The next option would be to buy down our customers' obligation by 1.3 million. The reason I'm using 1.3 million is there's a lot of discussion out there. I've seen a lot of reference to it, and it's talking about the Hutchinson refund that we received, I believe it was in 2017. And there's some misconception about that refund. A lot of our customers feel that when we received that refund, it should have went to them because they had paid more. And I just want to kind of clear that up a little bit. When we received the Hutchinson refund, that was put into our reserves. And the reason it was put into our reserves was because we were paying back ourselves. We never passed on the increased costs that we were charged from Hutchinson to our customers. We bore that ourselves, and we paid for that out of our savings account, as you would say. And so staff has discussed taking that 1.3 million that we received from Hutchinson and actually applying that to the obligation that our customer would have. And what that would do is that would reduce the gas price from, you can see up there, $2.85 per CCF. It would drop it down to $2.27 per CCF. If we buy that down by 1 million, that is money that our customers will not have to pay us. We will take that out of our savings account and apply that to, and so that would be relief to our customers in that form of payment. We looked at also applying some of our own savings, other than the Hutchinson refund, to our customers. So you can see there's a buy-down option of 2.3 million, and there is a buy-down option of 2.6 million. And so what that would do is, if you look at the buy-down of 2.6 million, you're looking at decreasing that price down to $16 or $1.69 per CCF from $2.85. So, you know, it's dropping at a significant amount of money. So this is the impact to our customers if under each one of the scenarios. If you look at our residential customers, the January bill, it's based on the 237 CCF. Now, what I want to stress is, you know, when the New Ulm Public Utilities sent out that gas alert, that peak alert, it was to help our customers reduce their costs, because every amount that they reduced was helping them on their bill. And so the impact on a customer is totally dependent on what their customer's usage was. And so, you know, there's been some discussion that, you know, bills are going to be 3 times higher. There'll be some bills that might be 2 times. There may be some bills that are 5 times. It is completely dependent on how our customer's usage was. So we just picked a specific, an average for a residential customer, which is about 237 CCF. So you can see in January 2021, at 237 CCF, they would have paid a gas bill of $178.24. If the Utility Commission decides not to buy anything down and to just pass that on through to our customers will see a bill of $818.82. Now that's based, again, on their usage and the fact that the gas price was $28.50. If we do the $1.3 million buy down, you're reducing that down to $668.79. And then again, if you, it just continues to go down. 2.6 million, you're looking at about a $519 bill, which, although is high, is not completely unusual in the state of Minnesota with the cold weather. But, again, it is higher than what we did see in January. Unfortunately, it was not only our gas customers that were affected, it was also our steam customers. And so this same graphic would apply to them. We used a, we used a average M-pound usage of 12 M-pounds. January bill would have been 123, no buy down, $500.71. 2.6 million buy down would be $318.21. So unfortunately, right before I came up here, I got word from our billers that what we were planning to do on the bill we cannot do. Well, we could do, but it's going to take 14 weeks. And so that obviously isn't an option. So what we wanted to do was to, what this slide says, is to basically ask to put all of our customers under contract. And what that would do would automatically spread that amount over a longer period of time. Now, we're still looking at doing that. We're still looking at spreading the payback time over a certain amount of months for our customers so that they can see some relief. Unfortunately, the way we wanted to do it through the billing isn't as clean as we would have liked to see. So we can talk a little bit more about that when we have discussion. But one of the things we're going to ask you to decide on is a payback period. And what that means is we would spread that bill, their February gas bill, over a certain number of months. Now, we've chosen 5 months and 10 months. 10 months because we want to get it cleared up by the end of the year. I think it's really important for our financials that we have everything cleared up by the end of the year. So that would take us from March, they would spread it out between March and December. 5 months would be March to July. Now, there's different pros and cons, obviously. 5 months, it would be 20% of the total bill. 10 months, it would be 10% of the total bill. Now, the pros of the 5 months is that, you would pay off the extra before you really got into the hard cooling season, and then it would be taken care of before the next heating season. The potential against that is that it's going to be a larger amount. It's going to be 20% of the total bill. Under 10%, the pro would be to pay it off before, obviously, to pay it off before the end of the year. It would be a smaller amount due, but again, the cons are, the tracking would be difficult because you would have more months where you could potentially have people moving out of their homes. How do you handle that? And then it would also be on top of the cooling bills and next fall's heating bills also. What we want to do is give customers the choice. There's some customers that will say, I want to pay it in full, I want to be done. And there's other customers that will say, we want to do this over time. And, I want to stress, and especially with how we potentially may have to do this, is I want to stress to customers, if financially it is a hardship, we really do want them to come in and talk to us and to try to set up a contract either on this 5 or 10 months, whatever we decide today, because I think it's very important. They've been hit hard, and we want to be here to help them through that. So, the one part we didn't really talk a whole lot about was the electric side, and the electric fund was hit as well. It's approximately $1 million to $1.5 million in additional costs. And this, again, is due to the high natural gas prices that we paid for our generation when we were doing the 69 kV project, and then, higher market energy prices. At one point, the MISO price was about $400 on 1 hour. And so, obviously, natural gas is used for generation, so that cost is going to carry through to electric generation. And these costs, too, are collected through the energy acquisition adjustment that our customers see on their bill. However, the difference between the gas and the electric is an annual EAA. So we calculate that out at the beginning of the year, and that's the same adjustment that's for the rest of the year. We do have the ability within our rates to do an interim adjustment, so that option is always out there. So there's a couple options, too. We could use some reserves to fund a portion of the amount that is due. We expect a change in unrestricted cash at the end of 2021 to be about $732,000. We could add the entire impact to our energy acquisition for the remaining months. That would be a half a cent. That's a big adjustment. So on top of the gas, I think we need to be cognizant of that. Or we could analyze the impact at the end of the year and adjust the EAA in 2022. So those are some of the options that are available. So that's really the last of the slides. Now I guess I was hoping that we could have some discussions on the points that are above. Those are the items that we really are going to want to come to some agreement on. We're looking at bills going out next week, the 10th, somewhere between the 10th and the 12th, depending how quickly we can get things in place. That's our first cycle. So they would go out between the 10th and the 12th. They would be due then on March 29th. And then we have a second and third cycle that are 10 days later, and then they're due. So this is going to impact our customers' checkbooks, actually, very end of March to April, because the bills would be due, March 29th, and then probably April 10th and April 15th, something like that. So I guess the first item was the gas supply billing, and I indicated that I did have some things to talk to you about with regards to that. I've spoken with our gas supplier, and I just spoke with him last night, and they are offering us some terms, but the terms are whatever is in our NASB agreement. So it would be a short-term payback, so it probably would be, within a quarter, and there would be interest added. So it's prime plus a couple points. There's also discussion in the legislature of a federal loan program that could be coming out. That, however, that is no interest, but they're looking at a 3 to 5 year term. And, from a utility standpoint, we certainly can talk about that. However, the gas department does, well, and the electric as well, does have reserves that we could pay the bill. It will get us below our reserve requirement at that point. However, depending on whatever option you have, we are going to collect some of that money back through the purchase gas adjustment or the energy acquisition adjustment. And depending on the month, if we go a 5-month or we go 10-month, we'll tell you when we'll collect that back. And so, if you have questions on this particular item, I think that, the federal loan program, we have 3 cities that we purchase gas for. They're small, little bedroom communities. I think that this particular option might be very good for them if it does get through the legislature. So that's something definitely we'll be talking to those 3 cities that we purchase gas for and see if they're interested. I think for us, we would prefer to get that paid and get it done with and move on. But, I'm open to any questions or any discussion you might have on that.
So as far as the reserve requirement, is it at any given point in time in the year? Is it at the end of the year when we're looking at the financials for the whole year? Like how does that work?
Yeah, typically it's at the end of the year. It's at budget time. And it's during the annual audit, and then we look at it at budget time as well.
Okay.
And we like to see our required reserves to be at 6 months worth of expenses, plus our debt service, 1 year of debt service, and then capital projects. And so that's just kind of a formula that we're using. And you know, it's the same as an individual where you know, financial advisors will say, well, you should have 12 months worth of salary in your savings account for if something were to happen. That's exactly the same way with utility. You know, this happened. Had we not had reserves, we wouldn't have had cash to pay our bill, and that could have been, you know, detrimental to the utility. There are utilities that are going to go bankrupt because of this, because they can't pay their bills. So,
So this is kind of an internal then requirement that we've set.
this is an internal, well, it's internal and external. Our internal requirement is, excuse me, our internal requirement is the 6 months plus debt service plus capitalization. We also have bonding requirements. So if we were,
Wondering, would the auditor make a note that could affect us later when we want to do?
they could, but I think, you know, if we will be back to where we need to be by the end of the year.
Okay.
And the gas department isn't looking to borrow at this point. The reserve requirement for our auditors is anywhere between 35 and 40% of operating expenses. So, you know,
We
they're,
could always borrow later if we needed to meet any requirement we felt we needed to have.
well, you know, it's kind of hard for utilities to borrow. You know, we're under certain restrictions. We can't just go to a bank, you know, and that's why there's this federal.
That's what I mean, though. We could go to that federal loan program later if we wanted.
I do not know that. They had, you know, the program isn't in place yet. It's still in the process. I think, you know, they probably will leave it open for a number of months, I would think, for utilities to figure out, but I can't tell you exactly for sure. Those are terms that they'll work out. You know, I guess, you know, from the standpoint of, you know, we have the cash. The utility is also backed by the city. And so when I say the gas department's funds will be under the restricted cash, we have the electric fund, we have the district energy fund, you know, and that's all a pool of cash as well. Each department or each fund has to stand on their own. But, you know, there are times where, you know, one fund may have heavy capital projects and another fund will kind of keep up that 30 to 40%. So I really feel that we would be fine just paying that bill, getting it done with. I don't really want to add any more cost. You know, the other option would be very easily to talk to our gas supplier. They're willing to spread that out over a couple months, you know, but there's a cost associated with that. And so that's just adding more cost to an already high bill. So that would be one thing we'll need to talk about. The other is the reserves and the buy-down options. And, you know, I did kind of talk about this a little bit with the reserves, and it goes for the buy-down option as well. You know, I'm looking at the money coming back from our customers, depending on whatever buy-down option we choose. Even at the 2.6 million, we'll get back to our restricted cash, our restricted amount that we'll need. We don't have any large projects coming forth. And I think we'd actually even be able to potentially, as money is paid back, we actually would be able to hopefully start a rate stabilization fund. And we've talked about it. And, what that is really just a name for what we're doing right now. Whatever buy down option we're choosing, we're stabilizing our rates for our customers. We're saying, we're going to come in and we're going to pick up some of this because it's onerous to you, and it's a high price, it's unusual. And so even by paying down the 2.6 million, paying our bill, I think by the end of the year, we could potentially formally have a plan for a rate stabilization. So I'm going to go back here to, I'm not sure what you want to look at, if you want to look at this one or if you want to look at the impact to our customers. But, these are the options that we've put forth. The low option is no buy down. I myself don't feel that that's appropriate. I think we need to help out our customers with what we could. There's the 1.3, 2.3, and then the 2.6. And then looking at that, if you're looking at the paybacks, what ultimately would happen is these bills would be put in as a contract. And so you could potentially, let's say on the 2.6 million, you have a $519 bill. For 5 months, you're going to pay 20% of that bill. So for the March bill, someone is going to have a $100 bill or $102 bill, which is less than what their bill probably would be if we were doing nothing and gas prices weren't crazy. But, that would be, and the other thing is we're kind of getting into the months where temperatures are going up, usage is going to go down. It's our industrial customers that are going to also, it'll be hard for some of them because their usage doesn't really go down based on weather. But, if you choose a 2.6, you're looking, our customer in this particular example would be looking at a $100 bill for February gas, which would be spread out over 5 months.
So they would get their normal, you're saying they would probably get about a $178 bill plus an additional 100. Is that what we're saying?
No. For the March bill, they'd get a $100 gas bill.
This would be less than what they.
It would be less, yes, but they're going to pay less this month, but they're going to pay more going forward.
So the following month, if it stayed with the January usage, then they would see 178 plus another
Plus the 100,
Okay.
yes. But, what we're thinking, what we're hoping is going to happen is that, their usage is going to go down, gas prices are going to go down, so they may have, for their March consumption, April bill, they might be at half that. They might be at, 100, or they might be at $70 for their gas bill. So then they would receive a $170 bill the next time.
So one of the things that you said on one of the other slides was the whole 5 versus 10 month payback, right? So the $100 bill is the 5 month model. One of the downsides you had on the 10 month was, what if customers move? Or what if customers move away? And how do we deal with it? So are we adjusting their rate, or are we basically just creating an accounts payable for them that then gets bleed off? So if
We're
someone's to
creating
move-
accounts payable.
Okay, so if someone was to move in 2 months, all of a sudden now they'd be responsible for clearing that
We'd be
entire
putting
bill.
a contract on each for their total gas bill for this month, and then that contract would follow them. That whole payable amount would still follow them.
So that would probably happen, like, just when the sale actually happens, the title and the dollars that change hands at that point.
Yeah,
Okay.
for homeowners, sale of homes, it's not an issue. The issue probably is more so with renters.
Renters.
Okay.
And you're looking to do the same option, you don't want people picking.
No. No. We've got 6,500 electric customers. We can't do separate things. So, they have the option to either pay the full amount if they just want to clear it out and get done with it, or, whatever you guys decide on the 5 or the 10-year
Well, or if a
payback.
customer chooses and then in the second month they pay it up or they pay extra.
That's okay.
They could,
They can do that.
But yeah,
Yep,
that's-
yep. They
yeah.
could, they could do it for 2 months, and then they have a low bill, and they decide they just want to pay it off in June. They can do that too. Yep.
In the 10-month, we'd start to run into higher electric bills, correct? Where they.
Yes,
they're-
your 10-month is going to hit your cooling season, which is going to be your, pretty much it's your August and September bills, because it's a month behind, so your September is got your August consumption. So the 10-month is going to hit the cooling. It's also going to hit your next heating, because you're going to have November, December bills on there as well. So, yeah.
Yeah. so
But it is a lower amount, You're looking at 10% rather than 20%.
Yeah, so in that respect, I think the 5-month is where I certainly would be
Yep.
leaning. I mean, it's certainly a reasonable spread. And if you think of, some of the higher bills that we can see anyways in the winter month, to have an extra $100 on a gas bill in a winter month is not extremely out of the ordinary, correct? Okay.
A lot of times people have kind of a relief. We call them shoulder months. It's the months in, the April, Mays, and then again, it's the, October, Novembers, where your usage, you haven't really maybe kicked your furnace up to where it needs to be, or you haven't started your air conditioning. Typically, we'll see people with lower bills during those months, and so the hope would be with the 5-month that you're hitting like 2 or 3 of those months, that it's not going to be as onerous on our customers, because they're not going to have that high air conditioning bill.
And then our customers that are currently under budget billing, that will just follow the normal process. They'll have an adjustment at year end, or would we?
Budget billing, yeah, what'll happen is budget billing comes due in May. April, yeah. Maybe Nicole can speak to that.
Yep, so a budget billing customer, I mean, we can put them on the contract as well, but it's still going to sit on their account as that contract, and and the bill is still going to be higher, so it's going to drive their budget to a shortfall. So they would owe more come April.
Okay.
It will be complicated with the budget billing customers and the contracts and how to work that out and how it balances out. But, I mean, we would definitely work with everybody as they come in. As a budget billing customer myself, I've gone in and I've put extra on my account already, knowing that shortfall is coming.
So they can do that. They can
Yeah.
come in and put $500
Yep.
credit or something like that if
Yep.
they choose to
Yep.
help buy it down. Got it.
Yep, and if they've had a good year, maybe they're already at big enough excess that it will absorb quite a bit of that, so.
Yeah,
The budget billing customers aren't going to be making this payment until the reset.
I don't know how it'll work with the contracts, to be honest,
Yeah.
how they'll cross each other, because they will at some point cross each other in there. I don't know how it'll work.
So we will eventually recoup the funds. It's just that's going to be slower on the budget billing.
it may be, yeah, it's probably, it would be actually just the 1 month. If they're on budget billing, they're probably gonna get their normal budget billing for
March.
for March.
Yep.
And then April is your true-up month. And so at that point then, if they're under contract, well, I would suggest anybody that is on budget billing that doesn't want to pay the entire month to come in for a contract,
Okay, yeah, let me back up. So this 5-month buyback or stretch out option, it will be an option for customers to come in
Absolutely.
and say, we're choosing this, so I'm, okay.
Yep.
It wouldn't
Customers
automatically
won't
apply.
automatically be put on that. They would come in and choose to do the 5-month contract. is
I
what
think
we're
that's
saying.
something we still need to work out with the billing software and what we can and can't do. I don't know how easy it is to automatically put everybody on that contract And, whatever we end up doing, we would definitely send out a letter explaining what's happened on your bills and what your options are going forward. If we can't put you on the contract automatically, then you would have to call in and say, I want the contract, and we'll just put that in and set it up right away.
Okay.
We were hoping that, we would be able to put both items on the bill. So there would be a total amount due of, what the total amount was. Let's say it's $519. And then we could put another line that says, this is what is due under the 20% contract, and it would be $100. And then our customers could choose which one they wanted to pay. Everybody would automatically be in the contract, and if they just paid their full bill, then they were good. Unfortunately, that takes 14 to 16 weeks from our software company to do that. And so we've got to regroup a little bit on that. But I think the decisions that you're making today will help us decide, how that's going to look on the bill. It's going to be a messy billing month, just because of what's happening. But, again, I just want to reiterate to customers, anybody that's listening or what they'll read in the paper or whatever, to, really don't feel bad about coming in and asking for a contract. This is an unusual situation. It's not like you can't pay your bill. This is an unusual situation that you're going to have some, higher costs on that bill. And so clearly that option is open for people to be able to come and do. So I think what I'm hearing is that, and, you'll all have to vote on this or whatever, but you're looking at more of the 5-month or? Okay.
In favor of.
Yeah, I just think there's so many cons against the changes in renters, the dealing with the mortgage changeovers.
Cooling season.
The cooling season. 5 months doesn't make the bills crazy compared to what they could be in some bad winter months. It seems reasonable. It would seem odd too to get a March bill for $50 because it's spread out over 10 months. So, not that that's a big deal, but yeah, I certainly would be in favor of the 5 months. I imagine we're going to do a package vote on all these things. But
Yeah, we will.
We still got to work our way back up and figure, that number's going to depend on what we do with
Yeah,
step 2 and 3 there too.
that's going to be probably your biggest decision here as to what you want to look at as far as buying this down for our customers.
The other one? I just want to make sure I've got this. So for instance, if we go with a 2.3, so you're saying that next month they would pay the regular
110.
bill
They-
plus 110?
No. Under the 2.3, and we do a 5-month buyback, their next month would be $110. And it would be, we would be adding $110 to each bill for the next 4 months. They'll still have their normal gas
Right.
bill.
They'll have the regular gas plus 110?
Yes,
Okay.
but the hope is that gas bill is going to be lower because
Yeah.
we're getting into warmer temperatures, lower prices.
Thank you. I just wanted to make sure.
Okay, so just walk that back. So the residential estimated bill would be $553.41 for gas if we do the 2.3 million
Yep.
buy down. Okay, and then that 553, the whole amount would be spread out over
Yes.
5 months if we
Over
do the
5
5-month.
Yes.
Maybe talk a little bit more about, to put it simply, what I heard you say is, we can afford to pay our bill without borrowing money.
We can afford to pay our bill.
Yep.
Yes.
Financial health of the utility is such is that we've got the money to do it, and even though it's gonna take a hit in our rainy day funds, you believe that the near future, the expectation is that we will be able to recoup that, get ourselves back in a position of
Yeah,
having that safety.
there will be no rainy day funds available anymore. But, what we have to remember is, even if you're buying down the 2.6 million, we're going to get 2.3 or 2.5 million back through our customers, because our the total gas bill is 4.9 or 5 million. And so we'll get the, a portion of that back. When you're buying down, it's just a portion of the bill. We can't afford to buy down the entire bill for customers. We can't do that. But I think, from my standpoint, I think we can afford the 2.3, 2.6, definitely.
So as part of that 2.3 or 2.6, the 1.3 from the Hutchinson thing? Okay. So
Yeah,
we're
so that
kicking
money's
in-
gone. When we do this, that Hutchinson money is done, we're not collecting, that is not getting collected back. It is, I don't want to use the word gift, but it is a payment to our customers to help buy down their bill this month. Yep.
So we're kicking in an additional 1.3 on top of that, kind of.
Yes.
That's stating, yep. Okay.
So the 1.3 would be about 18% buy down. The 2.6 would be about 36% is what my math works out to be. So a little more than a third if we went all the way.
And the suggestion is that this would just be across the board, this wouldn't be based on any kind of eligibility? Is there I can't think of any reason why it should be or shouldn't be, just putting it out for discussion to confirm?
Yep, it's going to be an equal buy down for all customers. So whether you're a residential customer, you're a large commercial customer, you're an industrial customer, you're all going to benefit equally by the buy down, because it's just going to come directly off of what the bill is, and then we calculate out what the fuel or the purchase gas adjustment is. So there's no subsidization by any classes or anything like that. It's a direct buy down for all customers.
About the situation that the customers had any control over, such that we should factor that in. This happened. I mean, people could try to turn down their furnace, but there wasn't a whole lot of time to work on that.
Well,
So,
right,
I mean, there's really no reason to.
As soon as we found out, we started notifying people. We've never really done a natural gas peak alert before, but we did. And, we flooded social media. But we wanted people to understand, you have some control. I mean, if you turn down your furnace, even 2-3 degrees and you leave it there, that's less CCFs you're burning. And that is a direct impact to your bill. And so, people that, took that seriously, hopefully, their bills could have been a lot more if they hadn't done that. So, we tried to do what we could for our customers. We tried to give that notice, and, we're trying to alleviate this through this buy down too. It's been a hard year for everybody, so. But it is a lesson in having reserves, I mean, it's no different than, a personal savings account. You never know when that day will come. And so, we're really going to be looking at, something where we can put some money aside for this specifically. It's going to happen again. I don't know if it'll happen to this extent. Somebody said, the markets worked. It's just whether you can accept the way they worked, and it was supply and demand. So hopefully there'll be some gas caps that are put on by the legislature, but we'll see what happens in the future. That's up to them now. So, I don't know if you're looking for a recommendation, that's,
I mean, I guess where I'm sitting is 1.3 is the starting point, right? We got to do something. The question is, do we go all the way to the 2.6? Do we take, like I said, 36% and just absorb because we can, or maybe there is a happy medium, and maybe that happy medium is 2.3, maybe it's, we take 20%, or we take 20, you know, a nice round 20, we're gonna take a quarter of the hit of your bill. I don't
If we
know.
would do, I'm sorry. If we would do the 2.3, do you have any idea how long it would take to get our reserves back up to what they are now?
It will take 5 months.
Okay.
I mean, they're not going to be to where we are now because we're giving away
Right.
2.3 or 2.6 million. So that is, that's coming off the top, and we will not collect that again. I mean, that is going to buy down our customers' bills. What will be collected is the remaining. Okay, so I want our customers to really understand that this 2.6 buy down we're talking about is not going to be recollected through the purchase gas adjustment. It's a buy down of that rate, and we do have to collect some. I mean, we can't just not collect the entire bill because that's not how business works. But that 2.6 it's gone. And so, but the remaining, what I'm saying is, even if we do that 2.6, we will still be okay with our reserve requirements. And we will probably still be okay in setting up a fund, rate stabilization fund going forward. And we should collect that within the 5 to 6 months.
Okay.
So in essence, the 2.6 is the 1.3, and then the utility is matching that.
Yes. Yep.
One thing about going with the 2.3 is that there's a lot of difference between the 1.3 to the 2.3, but then you get to the 2.6 and there really isn't a whole, if you divide that out, that amount each month would be, isn't excessive.
Yeah, divided over 5 months, it's not, it's,
Depends if you're the
What I need-
residential or the industrial person looking at it.
and you need to recognize that the 237 CCFs, that's on average. There's people that probably are much higher than that have a much higher bill. The industrial, this is an average industrial customer. So we have industrial customers that have a much higher bill also. So the spread between there is more significant. So the spread, it's where you want to show your benefit. And is $300,000 a huge amount for the gas utility?
Not really,
No. But it could have significant impact to a customer.
especially the industrial. I mean,
Yes.
you're talking a significant amount of money for industrial customers that run their, their boilers or their whatever, their HVAC all winter long.
Yep.
Have you had a lot of conversations with the larger industrial?
We haven't so far because we haven't really known what to do. We had initial conversations with them when this started. We called all of them, talked to them. They were very thankful that we called them to let them know, and they could do what they could do. We had a couple of them that decided just to shut down a certain part of their operation and not, to reduce their consumption. So they're all aware of it, and I'm sure they're all waiting, to find out, what we're going to do. We didn't really know, it was hard to estimate what the exact impact was until we got all these numbers together. And, staff has just been working like crazy to get this together. I just want to give, a shout out to Beth and to Pauline and Danielle. They've just really put it out there to get the numbers that we're seeing today, so.
Well, and on that point, to a great extent, we obviously rely on the expertise of the staff, and you yourself and Nicole, and, I mean, how many years with this agency are we talking about in terms of just you, the three of you, experience and knowledge of following the finances of this agency? I mean, you've been
I've been here 28 years.
Yeah, and your prior position was directly. with-
Finance.
Yeah, so that means a lot. I mean, the commissioners all have the financials every month, and obviously we look at that, but it does mean a lot to me. Your expertise, your background, your understanding is very important to my decision anyway. Do we want her to make a recommendation, or does anybody have a?
Let me look at my,
And the other thing is to suggest maybe we want to break this down. We don't want to do one motion. Maybe we want to do each.
Yeah.
You had your screen with I think 4 different points that you,
yeah.
yeah.
Well,
Like talk about number 4
the
more,
final
too.
thing is the electric impact.
Yeah.
And, that one kind of fell, to the bottom because
Right.
we're looking at $7 million in the gas department. And then, we really started looking at the electrical impact. The unfortunate thing, and we talked about this at the work session, was we were in the process of that 69 kV project. And so we were generating. And it did cause us some additional costs. I guess, my position on this, and, I feel for the customers, that maybe, looking at this in 2022, when we do the annual electric EAA, knowing that there potentially could be an adjustment there. I don't think we've had an adjustment, I'm not even sure, probably the last 2 years, we've had the same energy acquisition adjustment every month. So people's electric rates have been stable. I mean, there has been no fluctuation. The only fluctuation is basically on consumption, so whatever people are using. But the rate itself has stayed the same. And so in knowing that, we could potentially carry this till the end of the year, see where we're at, see where net income comes at the end of the year, and then build that into the adjustment for 2022. That's an option. The other option would be to make a point of buying it down like we're doing here, or just adding a little bit on to the energy acquisition adjustment. If you're going to add the full amount in, you're going to add half a cent, and that's huge. I think we figured out if we added, can't remember what it was now. If we just added the 2 quarters of a, if we added a quarter of a penny, it would have a 2% impact on rates, or residential rates. It's going to be different for each class because each class is different. So, so that would tell you there'd be about a 2% increase on electric rates. If you do the math, if you do half a penny, that's a 4% increase in electric rates.
What was the overall rate increase from our normal for this last month? What percent increase was it?
It was where did I have that? It was probably the one right before I. Half a cent. Half a cent to 0.6 of a cent.
So the full impact from the 1 month was a 4% increase? Am I
I'm sorry,
understanding that
I
right?
didn't hear what you said. So what it's saying is that the impact to the electric department was in the range of 1 million to 1.5 million, depending on, there's some generation costs and things like that. So it's in that range. So if you just do the math and you take 1 million and you divide it by every kilowatt hour that we sell, the impact would be a half a cent.
And what is the rate that we charge net right now to our residentials per kilowatt hour?
We are in the range of 12.1 cents, something like that. I think our published rate is 11 something, and then we have the fuel cost adjuster on top of that. So it would bring our residential rates to over 13 cents
Okay, so the math says it's about a 4% increase
for a half a cent.
for a half a cent.
Yep.
So if we did that 1 month adjustment, like if we did a 1 month adjustment to someone who had a $200 bill, they would get $8 more in electrical bill?
Probably.
Okay,
But that impact is that's across the board.
right.
So
No,
your
yeah, if you
industrial
have a
customer.
$800,000 bill.
Yeah.
Or $1 million bill, you're gonna get an additional 40,000. Yep.
That, yeah.
I mean, we don't probably have two people that might get $1 million bill on this,
Yeah.
maybe three.
Yeah, so, I mean, we could opt to do, an interim EAA adjustment. We could do that, typically, we probably would do that in June. And we could increase it, a tenth of a cent. We could increase it a quarter of a cent if that's what you chose to do.
Yeah, I mean, I guess kind of where I'm standing, and I might be standing on an island, but we're talking about doubling or tripling gas rates for a month, and we're talking about a 4% increase in electricity for a month. So to me, I'm kind of the opinion of either absorb it now or absorb it later, but I don't think that we need to provide relief just because we adjusted by 4% in 1 month for the year versus where gas is, crazy. Triple,
Yep.
5 times.
So this would be an increase just for a single month, or would there be an increase through the rest of the year to cover that additional cost?
It'd be over a year because it's based on annual usage.
So it'd be a 4% increase for 12, 13 months or
Yes.
something like that?
And if you use that 732,000 reserve, then what does it look like? Or are you talking about using that and then we still have this?
It would reduce the amount.
Do you know what you're looking at then if you did?
Well, if you used, let's say you did half of the 1 million, that's 500,000, it would drop your 5 cents to 2.25.
So we couldn't do a 1 month half-cent adjustment for electricity.
We could, yeah, but you won't get $1 million in a month. Because when you calculate out that half a cent, it's based on total kilowatt hours for the year.
Okay. Okay.
I mean, to generate $1 million in 1 month, that percentage is much higher.
Okay.
It would have to be a 12-month increase.
Okay, so okay, now I'm getting it. So that half cent is really a full year adjustment worth.
Yeah, because we
Gotcha.
we have about 200,000 megawatt hours
Okay.
in
So
purchases.
it wasn't a 4% increase in the month of March. It's a 4% increase if we spread it across the entire year.
Yes.
That March created.
You would adjust your energy acquisition adjustment for the year.
Okay. Okay, now it's starting
Yep.
to click.
Yeah, I agree with you, Sean. I think a 4% increase on an electrical portion of their bill is not very significant compared to what they're going to deal with for gas.
So I think I would lean to, potentially just spreading that adjustment, probably starting an adjustment, but enough to get up to the 5% over, a 1 year time frame or something, or till the end of the year when we do the next adjustment. Would be probably where I would lean. But I don't know that I would, I don't know that's when we're talking about absorbing a significant amount of the bill, I think we focus on, I think we focus on timing for electricity, but we focus on how much for gas. would be
Yeah,
my opinion.
I guess, my recommendation would be yes. I don't believe we need to use reserves to pay down that electric increase. I guess in looking at where we expect our unrestricted cash to be, the increase, that's a change in unrestricted. So that's putting money into the bank. We're expecting, to put 732,000 into our savings account at the end of the year. And so I guess, my suggestion would be to either do a very nominal increase in the energy acquisition adjustment and relook at it at the end of the year, or to just relook at it at the end of the year. Mainly because these customers are going to get hit with these gas bills. I'm thinking more from our industrial customer standpoint. You look at a 1% to our residential isn't a whole lot, but then when you're looking at it to an industrial customer who probably, they have a much bigger gas load too.
Yeah,
But-
I would be fine with that, kind of tabling it till the end of the year and looking at an adjustment for next year.
Yeah, I think I'd be okay with that too. But I would not suggest that we pull from reserves
No,
for it.
no.
So not an interim adjustment at all.
I think I'm good with that. I mean, it's pushing the burden a little bit on us, but from an electric fund, our reserves are okay regardless. So, I mean, we're going to absorb a bigger bill in the meantime.
Yeah, and we
Right.
have the ability to cover that.
And that's not going to drop us kind of below that desired reserve line from a bond perspective or from a,
Not from a bond perspective.
maybe from a internal.
From our internal perspective, yes.
Okay, and that's understandable.
Yeah, I would agree too. I just hope that you don't get to 2022 and all of a sudden there's this large adjustment and you're trying to explain to our customers that, remember a year ago, that 1 month?
Yeah.
That was.
Yeah, there's something
that's
to that,
the only-
absolutely.
Yeah.
The only thing, they'll forget what we maybe did. But
I think,
I mean, we certainly can do an interim adjustment, just of a smaller amount too. I just don't think we can, I just don't think we can put,
yeah, you're right there.
even a quarter of a cent is a 2% increase.
yeah. No, and I think I'm okay. I think to the point that Shannon was making, or Commissioner Hillshine was making, I think you would want to make sure to notify the customers that the increase will be coming. And I'm thinking more the industrial
Correct.
companies, because now I'm putting my Kraft Heinz hat back on. And when they go through the budget process in May, June, July, August, they're going to want to make sure that they notify that, and that's built into their budget through corporate. Otherwise, they're going to be putting themselves, underwater right out of the gate. So I think letters should go out in billing, and at least for those super large industrial customers that are dealing with corporate situations, that direct contact should be made, phone calls, that kind of thing. Okay.
So,
So I think we checked the 5-month box. I think we checked the adjustment electricity box until the end of the year. So
Yeah,
is the last
so-
box the 1.3 to 2.6, and whether it's somewhere in there? Is that correct?
Do you want them as separate motions or all as?
First item is how how the utility's going to fund the payment. That was the first.
Oh, yeah, so there's that, we've checked that box too, that we're just gonna, I think we checked it, that we're going to pay the bill and not do some loan program or,
Correct.
okay.
Chris,
Commission President, Commissioners. So what we're going to do is we're taking the notes, and what we were going to do on the next item was break down kind of after the discussion that, we're not going to finance. We are going to do the 1.3 to 2.6. The payback period kind of and then the electric impact as a package deal for you to approve in one motion to move forward. So kind of, we've been taking notes. So the last item would be the 1.3 to 2.6, so we can put that together.
Good, because I was running out of paper. So glad you're writing it down.
So I think, if we've discussed everything and there's no other questions,
Yeah, so I'm back on the 2.6.
Yeah.
So, and we might not have these right off the top of our head, but if you could just ballpark it for me. So I understand there's going to be a timing aspect, right? So I'm going to talk with my hands, but so our reserves here, where we need it to be, where we expect it to be is here. So is there 2.6 from here to here? Knowing that we're going to dip below because of the timing aspect of we're going to have to pay our bill and we're going to be collecting from our customers over a time. So we're going to dip down below and then come back up. But is there a 2.6 million spread there from where the reserve is now to where we want it to be, knowing that we're going to dip below regardless because of the timing? But do we have that 2.6 leeway?
I mean, after we collect, after the
Yeah,
adjustment.
so if we assume that we...
How far away will we be from our preferred reserve?
Right. So if we assume that we collected everything, like we didn't do some timing thing, which I know we're going to do, would that still, paying out 2.6, would that still drop us below our desired reserve amount?
no.
No. Okay.
We have enough reserve, so I think what you're saying is, if we have reserves here, if we pay out 2.6 million, are we at our restricted?
Right.
Do we have enough funds? And
That's
yes,
exactly what I'm
we
asking.
do.
Okay. All right. Okay, that answers my question.
Okay.
We can continue the discussion, but...
Yeah. I'm not unwilling to go 2.6.
That would be my recommendation too.
I'm okay now. Knowing that the dip below will just be a timing aspect, I'm okay. And knowing that we'll make a plan forward to continue to build the reserve to help
Yep.
these kinds of situations in the future.
Okay.
So are we ready to put together a motion?
So I think what you just need to do right now is to receive and order file the open discussion.
Okay.
And then the next item is going to be to actually do
Do a
the
motion.
the plan,
To take action.
to approve the plan.
Okay.
Well, I can make a motion to receive and order file the open discussion on the utility gas rates and electrical rates.
I'll second.
Any discussion of the motion? All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. That motion carries. Now, would it be appropriate for me to ask you to read out the proposed motion, and then we could perhaps, to the extent that a commissioner is willing, they could just adopt that?
Sure. So the motion would be to approve the plan that's been developed in the open discussion to mitigate and recapture revenue to pay the high natural gas supply billing in the form of paying the gas supply bill directly with no financial help at this point. It would be, no financing. It would be to buy down the rate that our customers will be paying with $2.6 million of the utilities reserves. Once we calculate a rate, it will be the 5-month option for customers spread out over 5 months, which would be March through July. And for the electric, we will we will not do an interim adjustment and look at it at year end.
Go ahead, Jen. if you- So the motion we're going to make is the proposal that Chris
So we're going to
said.
adopt what Chris,
So that's how we're going to
Vanderbilt
word
just
it.
I might be able to read it back if you,
Do it almost off the top of my head, but
the city attorney can confirm whether we adequately achieve Robert's
I
rules.
understand why you're doing this, but
Right.
I thought initially you had decided you were going to vote on these individually.
That, you know what,
And
I-
it would make a lot more sense, I think, to do it that way.
It would make more sense, and it would make sure that we make a clean record as to each of the
Exactly.
matters. So maybe we should first entertain a motion regarding payment of the bill, the New Ulm Public Utilities bill obligation to the gas provider.
so in my mind, that doesn't even need a motion, right? Like, we're just paying our bill.
It doesn't, it's just, I wanted you to be aware of those options that are out there in case that's something that you were interested in. So you probably don't need a motion for
Yeah,
that.
I guess essentially our plan was to
I mean, it's not
reject.
we're going to pay it,
A
It
different
would-
option, then yes, we'd have to
Yeah.
make a motion to go
We're
along.
going to do what we normally do, so.
Okay, so then the second issue would be a potential motion to buy down natural gas bill for the month of February for all customers in the total amount of 2.6 million.
Yeah. So I'll make the motion to buy down the customer billing by $2.6 million for the month of March
And for natural gas.
for natural gas.
I'll second that.
Right. So we have a motion to buy down customer billings for natural gas from the month of February 2021 in the amount of $2.6 million.
So do we say February or do we say March?
It would be February consumption, March bill.
Okay.
Do you want me to restate the motion again?
I think you should clarify that.
Okay. Maybe you need to make an amended motion, or can you
Okay.
withdraw the motion? Has it been seconded?
So, okay. So I'll
Challenging all of our rules.
I'll withdraw the motion and I'll say it again, and I might have to say it 2 more times. I will make the motion to buy down customer billing for February consumption that will show on March billing by $2.6 million.
I'll second.
For natural gas.
For natural gas.
Natural gas.
Natural gas consumption. Do you have any discussion of that motion? Hearing none, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Then the next item is to consider the contract, offering available contract to customers to stretch out their bill, their utility bill. It's their entire bill, right? For 5 months, or is it just the natural gas
Just the natural
portion?
gas portion.
So over a 5-month period.
So I'll make a motion to have an optional contract to spread out the customer's natural gas billing over 5 months.
I'll second.
And that would be for the billing for the month of,
For the billing, March billing through July billing.
For
Well,
but the
It's
amount
for-
that's being financed or
Fe-
spread out is just for March?
February
Yes,
consumption.
the March billing,
February consumption, March bill.
Okay.
yes.
Would you accept those amendments?
I would accept those amendments.
So then I'm gonna
to my
restate it.
motion.
And you seconded, do you second those amendments?
Yes.
I think we're doing this right. So we have a motion to offer to all of our customers the opportunity to stretch out their February consumed natural gas bill for a period of 5 months. That was it. Okay.
Yeah. Starting with the March bill. They can't choose the 5, it'll start this month.
The 5-month period of March 2021, May, June, July, August, March through August 2021.
July.
July.
Okay?
That's counting.
All right. All in favor of the motion indicate, oh, sorry, any discussion? All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. And as the last item, the electric billing. Okay, so we need a motion to discuss our decision regarding the electric billing.
So I'll make a motion to table a rate adjustment until 2022 for the electric billing.
Second.
Any discussion of the motion? All in favor indicate by saying aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Look at the agenda here. Is that everything
It is.
for today? Okay.
Just for everyone listening out there, the mechanics of it, they're going to get their bill, and there's going to be the option there, right, where they can either pay it up or they pay the lower amount, and then it just automatically, they're entered into this contract.
Yeah, we're gonna be working on that. What I think is gonna happen, and Nicole can kind of help out too, but what I think is gonna happen, people are gonna get their bill as if they owe the whole amount. Okay? And I think that there will be a note, or there'll be a letter, there's gonna be some way that we're gonna notify people. And you're gonna see this all over social media again, there'll be some way to notify people that you may come in and set up a contract. And I don't know if they're able to do that online. Is there some way we could?
I would have to work with IT. I don't know if we could get anything out there that quickly
Yeah.
for it. They may just need to call. And I think we could do that over the phone.
But over the phone, yeah, so people wouldn't have to necessarily come in.
Yeah.
And so when people are gonna get their bills, they're gonna get their bills for the full amount. We didn't wanna do that. We wanted them to see the full amount and then see, the 20% amount, but that's
That's what couldn't happen.
16-week thing. So they're gonna see this, but there's gonna be some note on there, or
We'll
there's
send
gonna
a
be a
letter or
letter or
something with it, yep.
something indicating to our customers that you have this option, it's available to you, please take it if you need it, So, well, not even if you need it, just take it if you want to spread it out. I don't want people to feel like,
Yeah, there won't be any qualifications. It's just,
Right.
if you want it, ask for it, we'll set it up.
So they're going to need to pay attention. I just think of myself with automatic billing, right? Because otherwise it could all be, if I wanted the contract, it would all be pulled out.
Yes, yeah, any ACH customer too is really going to have to pay attention because that full amount will come out unless they call and have us adjust it right away.
yeah. So, hopefully that'll show up in the paper so people can read that.
If
if I-
only there were a way to.
I got my bill and I only wanted to pay the 20%. I don't have to call. I can just pay that 20.
No, you need to call. If you're only going to pay
Everybody
the
needs-
20%, you need to call. So we
Everyone-
can set up
every
that
customer needs
contract.
to call.
Yeah.
You're going to be busy.
We'll be busy.
So it's not automatic. Is-
Not
is the
automatic.
main- yep.
We wanted it to be, and we're not able to do that.
Not timely.
Right.
All right, anything else?
Madam Chair, and this is a special meeting, we all need to get back to work. But one thing I'd like to at least bring to the commission's attention, on the city attorney forums, there are some municipal utilities where the utility commission has passed resolutions asking for an investigation of why this happened, asking for some kind of relief. You could do that at your regular meeting. We're not, I'm sure, going to get into that now. But I think it's a legitimate question. I know Senator Smith has asked for an investigation of this. This enormous price increase, that's what people are asking me about. Where did this money go? Who got it? And as Chris said, they basically took our life savings in 4 days. And their cost of production didn't go up. Somebody just made a fortune on this. So to the extent it's a concern to you and you'd want to do something formal, perhaps you could address it at your next meeting. But this is what I'm hearing from other city attorneys, and it's what I'm hearing from our own customers. I just wanted you to be aware of that. Thank you.
Yep, and Chris did share that with us, that we discussed that a little bit at our work session recently. So that's a good idea to maybe put it on our agenda for our
Formal.
next meeting.
Oh, I can work with you
Thank you.
on that.
Thank you, Roger. All right. I guess we're adjourned.
Thank you.
Thank you.